morning, y'all. It's Timidity. Fucking get the fuck out of my face. Oh, sorry. We just got blessed by the holy light out of nowhere. I need to go take a walk for my mental health. But I'm in that weird pit of depression for a lot of reasons. And if you're like, well, we kind of guessed. You made a video recently that got deleted from YouTube where you were stabbing your fucking futon that you lay on, of course. And of course, let's just say I did some shit that I plead the fifth over. And I can't talk about it. Let's just say I'm at that fun stage where post crash out, it's just that weird limbo stage where it's like you're not sure. Do you want to cry some more? Do you want to not cry? Do you want to think about the good times with that person? Do you want to not? Because that's a terrible idea and you'll linger on it. Do you want to think about the bad times with that person? You should absolutely not think about the bad times with that person because you know what will happen if you do. And then you're just like, okay, do you want to be alone? Do you want to feel guilt? Do you want to wallow in self pity and ignominy? What do you want to do? Do you want to feel good? Do you think you deserve to feel good? Are you able to even focus? Like, what do you even do? When you crash out, sometimes it's just like a limbo of like, you don't want to feel good. Not like you could really focus on feeling good anyway. You don't feel like you deserve it. You did something atrocious to somebody that could possibly be changing the entire course of their life right now. Do you deserve to feel good after that? I always deserve to feel good all the time, but I like to still do things to keep my humanity. But it's like, I don't want to simmer on my actions too long, but I don't want to just totally act like this didn't happen. I'm good at that. What usually happens is when I crash out, sometimes I'm able to completely memory swipe. And just whatever thoughts and memories about a person goes in a little deep black hole, and I forget about them. For example, does anybody remember Reuven? And if you don't, there's a reason for that. He's the guy I saw after Hey, aka he's that German dude I was seeing. There's a lot of reasons that man is repressed from my mind, but let's just say the crash out surrounding him was very bad. I don't know what he's up to in his life. I don't know. I don't care. Let's just say, for all I know, he could still have a family and be in the US. He might be back in Germany. I don't really give a fuck. For all I know, he's still studying and getting his degree and taking his classes and working as a banker. Or maybe he's out of the country. Don't worry, I didn't deport him. Let's just say he was like, if you are in a situation where you could get deported though, and there's a special person you're connected to through a green card or whatever, to be seen, like, let's just say I'm pretty sure I talked about it before. Let's just say, for all I know, he has a divorce. For all I know, they're keeping it together for the family. But even before I crashed out, I remember she was just telling him, you need to get a new apartment because I don't want to deal with you type shit. It's a very complex situation, me and that guy. And there's many layers of emotions for why I don't talk about that guy. But simply put, I entirely forgot he existed. I'm really good at repressing memories when I want to. And sometimes I can entirely forget what I did. I remember how strange it was that for months I was looking back at my sexual history and I was like, okay, it wasn't just Hey. It wasn't just Hey in February. There's someone else there and something happened, but why don't I remember it? And then when I did remember it, it's like, oh shit, right, that huge thing happened. That's interesting. It's very interesting. I guess I'm happy about it. For example, when I was 17, I had a really big crash out. And I was going to do some really, really scary shit. But I know that eventually what happened was I got a concussion. And that did kind of help with processing the trauma of a lot of the stuff. Since if you break your fucking skull and bust that shit wide open on tile, pause. If you hurt yourself and get a concussion, suddenly you aren't going to be thinking about that terrible fucking skater dude who vaped in your face as you cried, and all sorts of disgusting, terrible things with that guy who honestly I still will have a beef with. Even when a full decade passes, he knows to still watch out for me. I will be in every fucking shadow and corner. But as I was saying, when you get a concussion, you don't think about that too much. That's happened to me several times before. The concussion was a blessing and a curse. It stopped my ability to do a lot of things like I used to do normally. But on the bright side, if I didn't have it, I would have still been thinking about him all the time. And a lot of unhealthy things could have happened. I don't know. Memory suppression is a darned thing. But yeah, I think I'm gonna choose not to feel too bad about what I may or may not have done recently. I plead the fifth. I'll see it like this. Sure, I could choose to feel bad, but what would that get me? This dude is probably going to forget about it and probably feel angry about it, but he'll forget about it. He'll repress his own emotions, suppress the memories of the good and the bad, and he'll move on with his life, and he'll probably do some shit like go to Hawaii or focus on his studies, and life will go on. And then as for me, what? Am I just going to wallow for months over niggas who probably won't give a shit? For example, I remember last year I spent 4 months in total isolation feeling extreme sadness over something terrible I did to a guy for several months when I was in complete lunacy. And you want to know what happened? Right when I was picking back together the pieces and I got on Bumble, the same nigga I tormented matched with me. I guess every horror movie has its sequel, huh? And I just thought to myself, wow, I've been feeling bad over a situation by a dude who probably still would date me even after all that was said and done. Stupid. Anyway, well, I'm not stupid for feeling bad. I just think the guy's stupid for like, nigga, it's me, the crazy girl. You're gonna match with me again? Anyway, plus there's several times in my life where I have done atrocious things to people and they're still around. That dude JC always will eat my pussy. And I've done hell, if anything, today I remembered some really repressed, terrible things I did to him that he's never brought up to me. He doesn't give a fuck. All he cares about is if occasionally he can suck my titties, get me food, bring me cash, and then, like, also eat my pussy. And then maybe, just maybe one day, I will let him hit, officially. Men are very interesting creatures. I don't know. They're just so stupid. And I'm in my own stage where it's like, alright, I'll put it to you like this. I'm gonna pull out all the stops. Like, sometimes the best thing that helps me cope with things is that it's like, okay, which could I do? Could I be like, oh no, I used to be a good person, but now I'm turning bad, and I'm a bad girl, and I need to be put away somewhere and cry and be sad? Or could I just enter my villain era and be like, you know what, fuck that nigga. I'm a poor black girl. He's a rich white boy who always, like, acts like the biggest problem in his life is his ever so slightly receding hairline. Or has looks. Like, boo-hoo, nigga, get over it. You know what? It's good that I did that because now he has an actual reason to go to therapy and get it. He should be redistributing his funds and doing anything more important, and instead he's choosing to wallow. He likes to make up issues for himself when there are none, so you know what? Be the biggest issue in his life. I'm sure your ancestors might even be fucking a little bit happy that you're just tormenting some random ass rich white boy and making him feel like shit. You don't have to feel like shit. You're doing good. This is reparations. Now, why don't you go ahead and be a good girl and spend the rest of the day happy, skipping the sun, cheering, and celebrating life, and doing the best you can while facing no consequences for your actions, just like these white ancestors most likely never did for the shit they did to my ancestors. May as well. And I'm going to go ahead and spend my Etsy credit on some lovely opal and feel good. And I'm going to repress my memories because, you know what? I deserve to feel good. I've always deserved to feel good. It doesn't mean that anything that makes me feel bad is inherently bad, and of course we can reflect on that later, but for now, I don't want to feel too sad tonight. I already spent most of this week sick and miserable and upset, and I don't want to think about Spotty Dude. I don't even want to remember his name. I don't want anything to do with him. Just fuck him. I want to think about me, about all the highlights I am as a person, about how I'm a shining star, about how I have so much to do with my life and how I love myself. I'll think of it this way. That nigga sucked. And he knew it. And instead of improving himself, he's the type of dude where, I'll put it this way, at his absolute best, he would still hate himself. At my absolute worst, I would still love myself. And that's why I've always persevered and will continue to persevere and succeed in things and enjoy life in a way that he never truly can. And that makes me happy. I've already won. There's nothing more to do but win. Now, do I feel pretty good? Yeah. I was debating on going on a date tonight, but I thought to myself, hey, do I really need to get attached to someone else so soon? Also, I feel like, for multiple reasons, it's like for a date, I'd usually, Jesus Christ, what's up with the fly? I have my window open, it's a hot summer day, that's why. Fucking Jesus, it's so hot, I gotta take a mental health walk in a second. It's gonna be a delusional walk, but I'll be happy. But as I said before, like, I could go on a date tonight, but it's like, I like dates to be like, I'm ready for the exchange of human compatibility. Even though I know damn well that's not always the case, because think about it, the date I had with Spa Dude, I thought we had some sort of cool little connection, did we? Not exactly. So I could just go on a date with a dude tonight who would just be happy to have my presence there and just distract myself from my inner turmoil and my emotions and just sit there looking relatively cute, slightly sick, and just like talk. Let that dude talk about himself as I enjoy food, or talk as much about myself as I want to enjoy food. Anything. But deep down, I still have some humanity left in me. I think to myself, I like this current dude who I'm seeing. His name is Michael. He's sweet. And I think to myself, one, I don't even think I'm in the mood to speak that much. Two, I think all my thoughts would circle back to how sad I am at the moment for many, many reasons. I had a crash out, and it means having to reflect on my own moral perception of myself and if I think I'm a good person. And if I am a good person, and frankly, I don't give that much of a fuck if I am, but it's still like, I don't like to feel like a bad person who does. And was the guy that I crashed out on truly a bad person, or did he just make me feel bad? And did he deserve what I did to him, and does he deserve more? Or is it just me taking out my anger on him? And if you're like, why are you recording this? Because I like to document things. I tend to forget things, as we mentioned. And lunacy needs to be noted because not too many people research into mental health when they should. Mm. But the process of like repressing memories is an interesting one for me. In the history of me doing it, like consciously, like choosing to do it, sometimes it depends. Sometimes it can be overriding a memory. But I don't want to talk about that today because that's extremely rare for me. Usually it just results in like, I don't know how to explain it. There's like a special sensation I get in the back of my brain. Like something just twitches really hard here, and it just feels like the equivalent of like putting paper through a shredder. And I know you're like, that doesn't make any sense. A lot of things don't make sense. But I guess imagine if you could just feel your own memories just slowly trekking to a specific part of your brain that's just endlessly twitching, 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 cutting, cutting, cutting them up, shredding them up, getting rid of them, or at the very least shoving them deep somewhere in your subconscious that you will not really deep down remember. That's kind of is what happening to me today. So if I seem a little strange, it's because I'm feeling quite strange. It's and then usually what you do is you just figure out what's next. What do? And you just have to pretend that a whole week didn't happen for you. That very passionate 24-hour encounter where you met a man, you went to a spa, you had a wonderful time, you had all these great experiences, you have to sadly tuck them away into your subconscious as if they never fucking happened. And if you never met him and you experienced nothing. Here's a semi-related story. I remember once I was walking around late at night on my way back to a corner store, and I saw a man who looked relatively attractive, and I was like, oh, hey, nice eyes and nice hair too. You look very handsome. And he saw me and he stops and he stares at me with pure hatred. And then I say, sorry if that's sexual harassment. I'm bad at this type of stuff, but have a good night. And then he looks at me and he's just like, I know you. And I'm like, oh. And then he said something along the lines of, it's bad. It's for something bad. And I was like, oh, sorry. What did I. Can I ask what I did? We've met before. And then he was like, yeah, you said horrible, horrible things to me. Like, horrible. And then I was like, I'm sorry, but, um, I tend to do that to a lot of people, and I don't quite remember that. So I apologize if I don't quite remember what I did to you. And I didn't get to fully finish my sentence because I didn't realize how insulting that sentence would be. Because I'm sure I just changed his fucking life somehow, some way, and I don't even remember it. All I remember is said something kind of snarky at me that I didn't fully hear, and then he stormed inside of the corner store. I don't like that. I had half a mind to go into the corner store and ask, like, can you tell me what I did to you? Because if you were looking at him, you'd be like, this guy looks like her physical type. Yeah, I know what Smitty likes. Blonde hair, blue eyes, wavy hair, nice little jawline. That's her type. A little edgy looking. But I sincerely do not remember that man at all. At all. But, I have stories spanning from allegedly the fifth crimes. Allegedly. And I have stories spanning from just like me calling men fucking idiots in the DMs. I don't know, and some people deserved it, some people not so much. Most people deserved it in my opinion, but that's me in my opinion. But it's not healthy to do so, I still can recognize that. I suppose I'm gonna try my best. I'm trying to think of what I could do tonight to be good to myself, because I've had a very long week of emotional turmoil and processing, and it didn't exactly end the healthiest, and now it's just like, okay, how do I soothe my very, very fucked up system? I feel kind of like a computer that had all its wires aggressively ripped out and now has to like figure out how to ease them into place slowly one by one until it goes back to being the same computer it was in the beginning. And it's a process. And I have to figure out what that's gonna take. I guess if I wanted to make myself happy tonight, I could go to the corner store, get myself a nice big old drumstick ice cream cone with extra peanuts, just how I like it. Some Doritos for when I feel a little angry and irritable and need something to crunch on. Probably a nice steam shower. Probably a nice steam game. I could play Sam and Max. I could play Thirsty Suitors. Thirsty Suitors is like fun knockoff therapy, and that actually sounds like it could hit tonight. Might even try doing a live stream so I could have some sort of community. Probably need to have a few conversations with people, not about the topic, just about positive things. Sorry. God. Yes, the end result of sickness is so weird. Hey, 1738 on the time. That's so funny. 1738. What I like to do when I have mental breakdowns, and I've been doing this more often, is I try to find a new song that I can hyperfixate on. Sometimes it helps to have two. You find a new song to get obsessed with during the course of your mental breakdown and rebuilding yourself, and then a new song for when you enter a new era. It's extremely cathartic in that sense, let me tell you. But other times, what else can happen? It's kind of like a reprise. Sometimes I'll have a song that I associate with a specific type of lover, and I'll listen to it until I get tired of it. And then next thing you know, I won't hear it for ages, but next thing you know, it'll play during a new stage of my life. Like on a new date with somebody, I'll hear the song, and I won't associate it with some old lover, I'll associate it with the new. It's kind of like a musical reprise, like the same song, but this time it has a different story attached to it, so it changes the meaning of the song. I like that. Like, for example, I was recently grieving the loss of a friend group recently, and a song that was on my mind was, let's see, I Can't Stand the Heat by Foxy. And I remember that song, anytime it played, it would make me feel extremely sad and angry and just remind me of the friendship I lost with someone who allegedly couldn't stand the heat of their emotions towards me. And I remember that song was like killing me inside out because I loved it, but it was still like it reminded me of the painful emotions attached to that friendship. Ironically, how I couldn't stand the heat of that friendship, and it was just burning inside and hurting me too. But as time went on, life happens, things happen, and then I remember after the big fucking event that I threw myself that was such a hit that everyone from comedians and performers to audience members came up to personally thank me and said they would come back the next week. I was ecstatic as fuck. And then as me and my homies were all heading into the city for Victory Lap to go do some extra drinking, which, oh my god, was a bad idea, but it was hella fun. I remember on the way into the city, I played that exact song, and I Can't Stand the Heat had a very different meaning when you're headbutting with three of your new friends in the backseat of the car, fucking jamming on the fucking Bay Bridge, having a great fucking time. That shit was amazing. What a beautiful memory. I guess that's the beauty of life, is that there's always something new around the corner, and you can do bad and be forgiven or be forgotten. Not forgotten, that hurts a little bit to think about. I've been forgotten enough. Let's rephrase it like this. You can do bad things, but it can be a previous chapter of your life. It doesn't have to be the entire story. I don't need to have months to dwell on this. I could possibly try to journal on it some more if I really want to, vent about it some more. It's a good idea too, because I want to make sure I still have some humanity in me that knows what actions are okay and what aren't, and what's acceptable and what's not, and how even if certain things hurt me, they're not inherently demonizable, and all sorts of stuff. But you know what? I don't need to spend a quarter of a year or a third of a year in isolation out of guilt. This time I can just be like, that happened. I'll grant them the peace that they want by being quiet and moving on. And let's see what else can make me happy. And as for tonight, I think it would be too soon for me to see the new guy I'm seeing who seems to be sweet and promising. It'd be way too soon. I think I would much rather get some ice cream and maybe like a nice hearty warm meal somewhere. And I can just treat myself kindly and sweetly as I deserve. Give myself comfort that I know I'm worthy of. And beautifully see what happens there. And for now, the sun's going down and it's starting to be a little chilly, but I still feel the warmth. I think I deserve a nice little electrolyte drink, maybe some peanut M&Ms, and some Doritos with some ice cream, and I can take a nice little stroll in a sundress and see how I feel after that, and the night is mine. And whether I want to hang out with friends or be inside, not alone, just in peace, and whether I want to reflect or focus on other sweet things, I can. I deserve it. Oh, yeah, I can always get Korean barbecue with this cute fella another day. For now, I think I'm okay with just like a veggie bowl and stuff like that. Peace out. Bye.